It's Andy Morgan here.
Hey folks, this is Elite Series professional Boyd Duckett.
It's Cajun Baby, Cliff Crochet.
Hey guys, this is Randy Howell, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro from Alabama. You're listening to the Outdoor Scoreboard part.
Hang on.
You know, that's a tongue twister. Hey, this is Randy Howell, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro from Alabama. You're listening to the Outdoor Scoreboard podcast.
This is Mark Zona, host of Zona's Awesome Fishing Show and the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Hey, this is Floyd from Newmarket, and you're listening to my buddies Matt and Dave of the Outdoor Scoreboard, and I just nailed that intro. What's up, guys?
I was born across the river on a mountain where I call home. Long times are good there, don't know why I ever had to roam. Big Tennessee River and a mountain man, we get together every time we can. Old Tennessee River and Mountain Man, we play together in Mother Nature's band.
David?
Dude, you're 14 minutes late.
Oh, it's been a long day, man.
Oh, hang on a minute. Jason Russ, we went to Boone's Butcher Shop 2 or 3 weeks ago. I will be back to Barstown Boone's Butcher Shop. Look, Tide Nut's showing up. I've been IG living for 14 minutes, Matt. Actually, like 17. I started like 3 minutes before.
Man, for some reason, I don't get the notification that you're streaming. Maybe because I'm logged into the account, too.
Oh, it might be. Looky there, the SSFL Floyd champion is in the house, Matt.
Well, hey, Floyd, I hope he enjoys all the goodies that we sent him.
Only now, if Cody would just get his box from the guy that has it in his garage that keeps forgetting to go to the post office.
Oh yeah, is that what's keeping him from getting it?
I think that's going to be on my agenda tomorrow, is to take the Cody Fur box to the post office.
Yeah, you better get it to him before it gets too cold to fish.
Well, you know, up there they have that hard water season, and I better get him in there.
Yeah.
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 You think Lindgren should send Cody some Bass Tech jigs?
Yeah, I think they ought to have a little side bet or something going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking, yes. I popped the contacts out, Matt. I'm sporting the new specs tonight.
Oh yeah, got you some new glasses.
I did, man. I haven't worn glasses in several years, and for real. And Cody says, "Ha, yes, he should send him some jigs." Yeah, we had a whole. We got a Louisville fan, a Tennessee fan, a OSU fan. And Barry wants to know, Matt, if you stopped at the cart facility and wined and dined for a while, or you just kept driving.
Yeah, I just whipped into the parking lot there just to take a picture the other day.
Okay, he just stopped and got a picture, Barry. Sorry. That's funny. That's where I would normally take a picture, Matt, but you were in my old stomping grounds taking a picture for the TOS. That was funny.
Yeah, I was on my way heading out west towards Oklahoma by way of Draffenville, down the Parkway to Wycliffe. Parkway, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
you was in the 270.
I must have missed my turn because it took me down a country road to get back on track, I guess, and I happened to go. It took me into Wycliffe.
Oh yeah, that's a good deal.
Just half a mile or so before you get to the city limit sign. Not even that is that big fish processing plant there.
So you must have been like on the Bardwell side instead of the La Center side.
Probably.
Must have been.
Yeah. It all looked the same to me out there. It was pretty country.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty area down there in the 270. That's where the Ohio meets the Mississippi.
Yeah, I got to see that.
Yeah.
Drove over a couple of very recognizable bridges.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw one of them plain as day. You should have went to Cairo, though, and got that good fried chicken smell that just shows up in different parts of town.
Thought about
Different parts of town.
Down. tracking that fried chicken down.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, that's a good deal there.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'm going to dedicate to the TOS, the IGers. So I'm going to shut her down.
See you later, Instagrammers.
In live. Do we want to save it?
Sure.
Sure. I'm on the internet. Why not? You don't want to save it when you're not on the internet. That is a data eater right there.
Yeah, it will do that. That's for sure.
I was on the TOS instead of the D-Rose, right? I can't remember.
You know what? I guess so. I don't show that you were on there.
Hang on. Let me see which one it goes to. Done.
I tried
All
to
right,
save one I was driving around the other day on it, but it didn't save.
All right, there it is. I was on that one.
Well, Dave, I've been feel like I've been truck driver the last few days.
Well, that's what you get, Matt, when you act like a professional fisherman and try to go out about 4 states and then come back in 3 days.
I got a taste. Yeah, I got just a tiny little taste of what it's like to leave one tournament and drive straight out for another. Finished up the BFL regular season as a co-angler and ended up in 8th place for the season, Dave, and I'm the only one in the top 12 that didn't get a check all year. I don't know how that how I did that. That took some skill.
Did they lose your name or what?
I think I just didn't find the fish. I mean, I was consistent. I moved up, started off in 41st and went up to 21st, then 11th and 10th and 4th, and then down to 8th because I didn't make the cut for the second day. I tell you, it was tough, David, on Kentucky Lake.
Man, wait a minute, hang on a minute. This is September, right?
This is September, early September, yep.
You know what my granddad used to say about people that complained about 100 degrees in July and August?
What's that?
He said, quit your whining, it'll do it again next year, and guess what? It did it last year.
Yeah. So you're saying the fishing's going to be that tough too?
I'm telling you, September on Kentucky, is there not a tougher month?
It was tough. You know, our buddy Brent Anderson had sent me a text last week saying he did not know where the fish were, and then 24 hours later texted me again saying, disregard the first text. I was in the wrong part of the lake, and he said they were biting so good he thought it was 2013 again. And then saw him at day one weigh-in. He said, disregard and revert back to day one text.
Oh, my God.
It got bad again. Yeah,
Roamers.
Yeah, it was tough. There was a lot of big names that did not do well in that tournament.
Well, I saw one former TOS guest that did it really well.
Cole Floyd has been owning.
Dude,
Kentucky
that
Lake
dude
this year.
is a man. You talk about the year of the millennial. Good night.
That boy has cleaned up and made probably $10,000 through BFL this year.
Yeah. See there, Matt? It's another proof that you don't got to go traveling the country to make $1 fishing.
That's true. Stay strong.
If you're good enough on your... Are you kidding me? Ask Geneva Cole cashed like $40,000 and never left, Nashville to Kentucky.
Yeah. He more than paid for his entry fees and had practically got a boat dealership out of it.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's gotten to make it selling boats that he's won an art.
Yeah, you don't have to travel 5 states away, pay an entry fee, and try to make money out of state. When if you're good enough on your home lake, dadgummit, stay home and enjoy your bed and family and get off the soapbox, man. Sorry.
Well, everybody has their own plans. Some people who are good enough, they've proven they're good enough, they want to go on. Some are happy to stay at home and kicking our butts every week.
Yeah, if you're famous for your initials or your name or your name's Jason Christie, have at it.
Yeah.
Dude, was that not awesome, him winning on St. Clair fishing the way he wanted to and everybody else was drop shotting? He threw out a 3/4 ounce head with a tube and ripped it through the grass and caught him the way he wanted to.
Yeah, it's interesting how he figured out he started catching those drum. Those drum were there for a reason.
Yeah.
And he kind of took that and fished his strength and won, of course. I mean, it's just, he is the real deal. I fished with a guy yesterday over on Fort Gibson who fished against Christie when he in that Oklahoma circuit way back when, and he said that Christie is not a fluke. He said he is the real deal. He comes from a legendary fishing family, a family tree full of legendary anglers, including his mother. I did not know that.
See, I had not heard the lineage part.
Oh yeah, he's got fathers, uncles, and mothers, cousins. His whole family tree you shake it, and there's going to be some really good bass anglers fall out of it, from what I heard.
Oh, we don't.
And that on top of that,
I did not
being
know the
Cherokee,
lineage part.
that's just not
yeah.
fair on top of that.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, good job to Christy on that. And we got the AOI event on Mille Lacs coming up later this week here in just a couple more days, I believe.
We do.
Thursday, Friday, take Saturday off to sign autographs and kiss babies and shake hands and get back on
Sign
Sunday.
babies and, yeah.
Sign
babies and kiss hands.
Yeah.
Matt, I think Irma is at my house right now.
She came through here early this morning, late last night. Kind of rained on Memphis a little bit. Kind of heading
I had to go cover the grill up a while ago because I heard Irma coming, and then now Irma has brought buckets with her.
Yeah, I can kind of hear the raindrops.
Speaking of, I think I've got out of going to Texas, but I may end up having to go to Florida.
Well, I can think of worse places to be, Dave.
Well, I agree, but you're not there for vacation.
No, you're going to be working for sure. I'm sure. Just like I saw a lot of utility vehicles just all the way out through Missouri. All of them head south. A lot of those utility guys are getting good work.
Yeah,
right now.
that's yeah. All the guys that are caught up and can send it to you, they have sent a
all hands on deck kind of deal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be.
Let's see here.
Florida's going to have to dry out, but fortunately, the Tennessee-Florida game is going on as scheduled in Gainesville. Maybe a little wet, slippery on the field, but I think they're going to go through with it down in the swamp.
Advantage Florida.
Yeah, a little advantage there.
Are you concerned?
Tough.
Are you concerned about the game at all, Matt?
I am always concerned when it comes to Florida.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we turned it around last year and broke the streak and beat them in Knoxville. Whooped them pretty handily in the second half. Even though it started off, we spotted them about 21 points, and then we rang off about 38 unanswered. So,
good thing you didn't have the trash can then.
Yeah, that trash can's getting a lot of publicity, man.
Dude, that trash can is getting hammered. Yeah.
Somebody, who was it? Was it Hennard sent us that picture of the can? It said, "Yes, we can."
No, I sent that to you and Henry.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a T-shirt somebody's making.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That was promoted on the IG, and I thought, seriously, who's going to buy that?
Oh, somebody will.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yeah,
Guarantee it. What time is our guest coming? No kidding. What time's our guest coming on, man?
Got about 3 minutes.
4 minutes? Okay, well, we'll do the Mille Lacs. We'll do the Mille Lacs, which I have no idea how they get Mille Lacs out of Millie Lacs. But anyway, I'm still looking for an answer on that.
It must be
It's
French.
It's two words. Millie Lacs. But they say Mille Lacs. All right, whatever.
I don't get it, man. It's one of the northern French things, I guess.
That'd be like calling it Lake Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, I've always wondered, how do you determine whether the word lake comes before or after the name of the lake?
Good question. I bet Ken Duke would know.
Yeah, I've always wondered if there's a rhyme or reason to it. Like,
what if it has to do with the size?
Lake Barkley.
That's what it is. It's Lake Barkley, but it's Kentucky Lake.
I wonder if it's named after a person, the lake goes first.
You know what? You may be on to something,
I'm
Matt.
thinking of Lanier is probably named after a politician. Lanier.
Or wait a minute.
Or a very
hang on, Matt.
person.
I just thought of something.
Okay.
If there is a lake named after a Confederate something, is that lake name changing?
I don't think the social justice warriors have made it to the fishing world, Dave. Everybody's still standing when the national anthem goes off before the tournaments, and I think we're okay there.
All right. I'm just asking.
So
I'm
far.
asking for a friend, actually.
I mean, you can laugh at that, but who knows?
Don't think it ain't coming.
Somebody out there could get upset. Who knows?
Just takes one snowflake to ruin a whole group.
Yeah, there's a Robert E. Lee Lake somewhere. Lake Lee.
Yeah.
You better be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, we'll do some research on that and get back. I'll do some looking up, some Googling on why Lake is first or last.
It's a good thing ESPN doesn't still own Bass, because they may change some of them lake names, since they told that one announcer he had to change games.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
And the dude was Asian, by the way.
Yeah. No relation at all.
Talk about a bunch of snowflakes. About a bunch of snowflakes in Bristol, Connecticut. Good night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's
yeah. There's 4 letters in there. There's 4 letters in their name for a reason.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So the BFL.
So who do we have? Who do we have for creds this week on our guest, Matt?
Creds for our guest would go out to Pro Staff Agency. Got a good contact.
I didn't mean to
there.
put it on the spot. Yeah. Pretty good hookup.
Yeah.
Pays to have a hookup days.
It does. I'll tell you, how about we go ahead and line up our guest? Been looking forward to talking.
Hey, I'm all for it.
One of the ledge masters on Kentucky Lake and the Tennessee River system. So let's see if we can't go over there around Pickwick Lake and get a hold of Mr. Randy Haynes. Another one of the Randys we've had on the show.
Yeah, we've had several.
Yep.
Hello.
Hey, Randy.
Yes.
How you doing? This is Matt and David from the Outdoor Scoreboard podcast. How you doing?
All doing fine. How about y'all?
We're doing good. Dave's up in Lexington, Kentucky. He's telling me that Irma has arrived, and I told him it's been kind of wet down here in the Memphis area too. She's been hitting us finally. Kind of getting a little wet for getting our week started.
Yeah, sir. It has here. It's I'm down here in Ripley, Mississippi, and it's been raining all day. Kind of cool rain too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like the weather's finally kind of turned off, even though it's been a little warm during the day. The nights are cooling off, and hopefully that'll get some of this fall topwater action going soon.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Guaranteed. Well, Randy, we really appreciate you giving us just a little bit of your time tonight to catch up. David and I, we're kind of a Kentucky Lake based show. We had a lot of our guests and our mutual friends of yours and ours, and fish Kentucky Lake, Tennessee River system a lot. But we've always been wanting to get you on it and catch up with you and pick your brain a little bit on ledge fishing, since that's kind of the big thing to do around here. And first of all, I think I've heard through the grapevine that you might be looking to get back on the main tour next year.
Man, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Man, Okeechobee and it's just a great schedule. Lanier, I mean, my truck sponsors some Lanier down there, so got to go sell some trucks down there. And of course, Kentucky. I mean, I'm already fired up about that.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're itching.
Oh, I am.
Oh, yeah,
It's going to be at transition time, which I love. This year it kind of ran behind in the Costa, and it happened, just a few days before the tournament, before the main wave came out, and it should be kind of close to that this year again.
Yeah, Kentucky is a little bit different time of year than we traditionally see FLW make their stop there, but I think it's still going to be a pretty good time of year to catch fish just about anywhere you go on the lake.
You should. It should be deep and shallow both, man. It should. That lake is funny. It seems like it's different when they come out every year. And I don't know if it's the pressure or what. It seems like there's a few guys always catching deep. Always the 1st of May, but more people learning about it, and it's getting harder and harder to do that.
Have you had much experience down in Okeechobee? I know that's usually a totally different kind of lake, even though for the anglers we've talked to in the past that go there every year, say it even changes for them. But what's your experience with that lake?
Man, I've spent probably 3 winters down there. I love it down there. It's another, to me, it's just like ledge fishing in a way. It's about finding them, finding the groups, finding the big ones. You're looking, but the difference is, for me, you get to fish for them instead of sit behind the steering wheel, look at them graphs all day. So it's a lot of pleasure to that. So it's about finding them groups in certain areas, and you're trying to find you're trying to find something away from everybody else, and that's the whole key down there. And it's hard to do. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, kind of like it is in Kentucky now. And man, I really enjoy it. When you hit that right stretch, go right down the right stretch of reeds, or find a good spot in the grass in the hydrilla somewhere, you can have one of them unbelievable days within a 10-minute window, and it ain't nothing like it. And to me, it fishes a lot like it in a way, but it's a lot different in a way too. So I really enjoy fishing down there, really do.
How about going over to Lanier? It's a place that a lot of the major tours have not been to in a while. Yeah, but from what we hear, it's kind of become it's always been a spotted bass kind of lake, but now they say there's blueback herring in there. I mean, what are you looking forward to that? As far as catching spots, you expect that to be much different than the spots you typically can catch on Tennessee River?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little different. It's more red clay points and humps and stuff, but, you'll be able to put that water in there in that 40 and 50 foot. If we have a good long winter, there'll be some of them will start spawning, but most of them will be pre-spawn, I hope. And, you get out there and fish deep for them, and it'll be kind of like Tennessee River in a way, but it's just more red clay and points and a few rock. It's got some rock mixed in, but it's also got some tall timber where you can fish 30 and 40 foot deep. And man, it's long as it hits pre-spawn or post-spawn, I'm fine. It's just no spawn I have trouble where you got to crawl up on that bank and seem like you got to follow the leader around the coves and the bank, and that's where I struggle. So, man, just being hopefully a pre-spawn tournament where you have a jerk bait or slim bait or a jig in your hand, I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, that deep water, man, I really enjoy that part.
You reckon those big spots will be munched on those Z-Boss 25s?
Man, I'm hoping it's more like a 20. I don't know if that 25 will be a little too deep for them there, but I'm hoping that 20 will be in the right range for them. Them spots get aggressive on that lake, and that's the neat thing about the blueback herring. They're movers, and them spots get aggressive, and it don't matter how fast it's moving, what time of year. They really feed up on some real quick, and it's unbelievable action on them spot lakes where you have that herring, especially Lanier.
Well, let's go back to kind of fishing on Tennessee River, and for some of our listeners who aren't quite familiar with you as much as we are on the Kentucky Lake area, but give us a little background about how you got started into bass fishing, and more importantly, like how you got into bass tournament fishing. How long have you been competitively fishing?
Man, I tell you, I moved to Pickwick. I lived about an hour from Pickwick, and I had my own flooring business, and ran off the road one morning. I worked about 2 weeks in a row, and I ran off the road going to Pickwick, and about a week later, I bought a house at Pickwick. So, and that was in '98. And man, I did it. I fished a couple of old tournaments down in Mississippi, but I really club tournaments and stuff. But I really didn't fish the bigger tournaments like we had a trail on Pickwick called the Mountain View Trail, and it's kind of like the Elites, or the FLW Tour, but just on Pickwick. And I finally figured out how to catch a few, and I started competing with them and got lucky and won a couple of tournaments. Man, got my confidence up, and some of the boys that I guess is one of the tour events came, not the tour, I think it's a FLW, but it wasn't a tour, it was the next thing too. It wasn't the Costa, but the series, I think. That's one Mark won, and Mark won it, and I got to meet him, and boy, I decided that at that time I was pretty hot catching fish and winning a lot on a local deal. And man, I said, if anything ever comes back to Pickwick, I'm going to fish it, no matter how much it costs. Because at that time, it was, $2,500 is a lot of money to anybody. And old floor man, I couldn't cough that up. It just killed my soul. But the next year, the Costa came, and I was very fortunate. Everything worked out, and I got to fish it. Had a great tournament, won the tournament, and just kept on the Costa level, and had some very good success with it. And finally, I decided to jump in the tour event, the tour level, and that year I won. I didn't fish but 5 tournaments out of 6 because I had to go work. I had such a good business. I just had a couple big houses, just couldn't make the first tournament, but I had a heck of a year. Won Eufaula on the tour side, and then won a Costa down at Kentucky. And man, it's just I've been blessed ever since then. Fishing's been really good to me, but it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
How long do you give? Like, say, the fish are there, you've seen them, you've scanned them. How many different angles and how long do you give them before you pick up and move to a different one?
Man, time is changing with that.
Yeah.
In the past, when it was so good, man, I'd idle over school, and I was thinking about this today. I'd idle over school. If it wasn't the right group there, or the fish didn't look big enough, or, it wasn't tight enough, I'd go on. But now you see a spot open, you better fish it. And if there's a lot of fish and the history of the spot depends on how much time I spend, how good the spot is. If it's a really good spot, there's y'all know there's community hoes out there you can win a tournament on. They're there. It's just to get them to bite. So, them hoes will spend a little more time, more angles, try a few more baits. If it's traditionally not as good hoe, you go down the lake and it's open, I don't spend as much time on them, and I say a grade A #1 fishing spot, I might throw it spinning rod a couple times, not many, but a couple times. And a lot of it depends on how many people's fishing out there. Where, Thursday and Friday, you got the full field out there, and you can't move around as much. And it just you're limited to how many places you can fish. This year I think I went 6 or 7 miles where I could get on another spot. So you had to spend a lot more time. But Saturday rolled around, y'all know what I did. I hit as many places, and and I didn't put much time in none of the places, because when it comes to that, man, I want that 5-minute window or that 3-minute window where, that bait goes through there and you catch 3 or 4 fish and you pick that trolling motor up and you go to the next spot. You keep rotating until I don't like to beg them. I really don't like to beg fish to bite. I like them dumbins and when they're active. But, fishing's changed, especially ledge fishing. So, things you got to spend more time on now because it's just the way things have changed over time.
Yeah, we've really noticed, especially this year, I guess it's just been the culmination of the last few years where you've got the Triton Owners Tournament and the Costas and the major tours all hitting here, along with everything else that typically goes on week to week. All the clubs are coming here. And I noticed on Kentucky Lake, the grass has been absent for 2 years now, and I hear even on Pickwick there's some there, but it's not really topping out like it has in the past. And now we've got the Asian carp a lot of people are talking about coming in and really, growing and taking over a lot of the main river areas. It seems like there's just a lot going on, and it's really hard to put your finger on it. So like you said, you got to adjust a little bit.
You do, and in Kentucky, it gets towards the end of May, 1st of June. It's going to be one offshore. So, and a lot of people don't realize that, when the tour comes, you see them big groups of people together and stuff. That's not the guys that's trying to win and stuff. Everybody's got opinions about things. Us guys are trying to get a check and go home, trying to get that $10,000 check. So, there's a group of guys and they're all getting along, but the guys that's winning, the top 10 guys, a lot of times that's the guys that's, running spots, trying to find a needle in the haystack. And, it's hard to win sitting beside people and getting in the same rotation as everybody. And, man, it's making it difficult, but that's the challenge now. That's what it's come down to. Electronics is better, and at Kentucky Lake, boy, I tell you, it's a heck of a fishery. It's the best. I say it over and over. That Kentucky Lake's the best offshore lake in the country. And if you want to learn to ledge fish, that's the lake to go to. 'Cause this got it. I mean, it really does.
Have you seen a decline? It might just be me, but it seems like it's getting harder to catch them on a deep plug than it has been.
Well, we got on that swim bait kick for a while, and I watched it dry up in 1 year. It's kind of like that Alabama rig. It came out and it was hot and heavy.
Yeah.
This year in the Costa, hey, I'm telling you, 90% of my fish came off the Z-Boss 22.
Well, right.
My arm feels the effect of it right now. But yeah, I tell you, that plug, Tim's kind of opened my eyes on it. That plug, it's unique because you can cast it about a cast and a half, and I was a big, digger like a bait. It really digs and turn up rocks. Pull your arm off. That bait's really subtle, and it casts better because it's got a weight transfer. And I like that bait because you can cast it farther. It's easier to reel, and it's more subtle. It's in between a swim bait and a big crankbait, and I've had a lot of success with it. That 25, the bigger bait. Now this one when it gets down there and digs that bottom up, and I tell you, it catches big ones. But like I said, it's you catch 2 or 3 or 4, and it kind of goes away. It quits, and some of the other baits. Timmy loves the 20, and I love the 22 because the 20 is more a 12-foot bait, 8 to 12, and it's real subtle. And I tend to fish deeper than Tim, and man, I love the 22, and and it could be just anything you have confidence in, but that's my confidence bait. And 85 to 90% of them fish in the Costa this year came off that 22. It was a brand new bait this year, and like I said, I was catching a lot of fish off the crankbait, but I had other baits mixed in with it. But this year it was dominant with the crankbait with me. I don't know if it's because it was a new bait, new bait, but I guarantee you, I really enjoy that bait. I really do.
What's your setup as far as tackle wise throwing that plug? Rod length, line size?
I've got a 7.9 Impulse. Boys made me a signature rod called a ledge rod. It's a 7.9. It's a medium heavy. Now, every medium heavy and everybody's rod's different.
Yeah.
But this rod's parabolic. It's got a lot of tip, and it's got good backbone. You need that backbone because some of these baits are ounce and a half. So you need that backbone to get out there. And I kind of like 12-pound line. You can drop down to 10. Has a little more stretch, but you can cast it just a little bit farther because its line diameter is smaller. But the 12, you can kind of get by boat flipping some bigger fish on U-line and stuff like that, and I like the 12, of course, in fluorocarbon. And the reel, I use like 5-to-1, 5-to-4. I like the loose feed spool because it's got the David Fritz's reel. He's notorious on them type reels, but what it is, a reel, the line guide and all that's real wide, and the line guide is real far from the spool, so it lets a lot more line off. And the rod I'm using is 7.9, and it's a neat combination. I love it. I'm getting kind of older. Them crankbaits, I love a 7-11 rod, but I told them I wanted to cut it down because just, get it a little bit, everything a little bit lighter. And I use a big backbone rod because the more backbone you got, you get to stick that rod tip in there, and it forces that bait down deeper. That's what I like about it. Where Fritz, he's more of a fiberglass rod. Well, you look in the past, Fritz likes to fish the 10 and 12 and 15 foot a lot more. And where he's fishing single fish on single stumps and stuff like that, where we're fishing more schools, and if one don't get it, don't worry about it, another's going to get it. A lot of times you rip it out of one of them's mouth, another will get it. So, we're fishing them schools, and a lot of times the second fish that gets it will be a bigger fish, and then when you bring it up, the reels are so much better than what they are in the past. If you lose, I use a pretty light drag setting, so, whatever they do, the drag won't stick like they used to lose in the old BB1s. They used to stick real bad. And the reel does a lot of it for you fighting a fish. So, of course, the hooks are super now. Their hooks are a lot better than what they used to by not bending and, just a stiffer and stronger hooks than what they used to, too.
You were talking earlier about starting off there at Pickwick and getting into a lot of the bigger tournaments, and Mark Rose being making his name down there too. And we've talked to Mark in the past about how he got started, and you always hear the old adage of nothing replaces time on the water to get out there. How did you get to where you felt like you were good enough as far as being a ledge fisherman to really compete in those bigger tournaments? We see a lot of guys jump in, might have one good day here, one good day there, then they think they can go jump in a Costa and try to win it, and then they end up getting, pretty much just handing the money over at the pre-registration meeting. How did you hone your craft, so to speak, and really learn how to really fine-tune your ledge fishing abilities?
Well, Mark's right about that. Time on water. And, guys, if you want to know if you measure up tournament-wise, we fish pretty well 30 minutes after daylight to 3 o'clock. You take that time. You take it on, say, a Friday, and see what you weigh. You figure it up. You take 3 pounds off of it. Say, I got 23 pounds. In a tournament, you'll usually weigh in 20. Now, take it on Saturday on a single-day tournament, and if you catch 20 pounds, it usually means you'll weigh in about 16 or 17 just because of pressure and stuff. And that's how I gauged myself when I was growing up, and that's pretty well right. Most of the time when I'm practicing for tournaments, if I'm catching 27 to 30, I'm going to win, in practice. And you got to be pretty consistent at it. And if you're catching 17, you're going to have a good day every once in a while. You're going to hit a good day. And you're going to weigh in a big bag, and then the second day, it's going to catch up to you. The averages will always catch up, it seems like. But, man, it's all about time on water, finding them nooks and crannies that everybody hadn't found. And I think I found 2 places this year. It was new to me, and, I didn't see nobody on during the tournament. It kind of bailed me out. I mean, it really did bail me out. The first day, I didn't have a fish till 10 o'clock, and went to them, and they bailed me out pretty big. And my rotation was wrong and didn't make the right stops. But, man, that's kind of how I figure when I go out and fish these tournaments, if I can stack up to everybody else, because you'll see on Saturday what everybody else weighs, and you got a good idea if you can compete. But that 3 to 4 pounds taken off, that's pretty well a good guide of what you're going to weigh in on Saturday. But yeah, now the part about, I like to try to find, a bait, a confidence bait. And that's, this year it was the 22, in the past it's been a swim bait. Before it was a crankbait again. I'm big on big baits, confidence, trying to find that one bait I got a lot of confidence in, and then you got to have a secondary bait like a hair jig or a football jig. And, there for a while it was the big stand-up do nothing worm, the big worm, Magnum Creek worm, like Zoom has. I mean, that was like gold there for a couple of years. You can catch 2 or 3 more fish off the spot, and man, you just got to find them places nobody got and get you a bait that you have a lot of confidence in. And man, I can't tell you how many baits I'll have for the winter's over with sitting on the counter, made to try, some goofy something it doesn't work, but you put a bunch of a fluke on something, and it looks good, but it don't work. Then a year or 2 later, you work on it again, and the deal with the swim bait, man, we went through so many swim baits. I can't tell you how much money I spent on swim baits, from Shadowlicious to those Storm swim baits, flipping jig hooks in them, flipping 1 ounce flipping hook in it with jig, 1 ounce flipping jig is what it was. They ended up sticking in there to keep on the bottom. And, man, it was, just getting stuff like that is a key it's been a key for me to do good. That's, to me to do good over time.
I tell you what, speaking of confidence bait, Randy, I tell you what, my last couple of years for me is that Profound Chompers stand-up worm jig head hook combination.
Yep.
And you put a 12-inch worm on that sucker. It's like the perfect combo that's completely straight. It's completely weedless. And I tell you what, I've got more confidence in that than I do about anything anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good rig. You know, that's what I put on. I put that a Zoom Magnum trick worm or a old monster. That's the two baits I put on it. And man, it's a good rig. I mean, when they get on it, they get on it. Man, there for about 2 years. Didn't many people know about it. You just throw it out there and you just hold your line and you just watch. You just feel that tick and you just ease off. That was some of the neatest fishing, and they, you know, like everything else, they get used to it and they figure that stuff out.
Yeah, the one thing I've taken away from listening to you there is don't get caught up fishing just the same old thing all the time. Be open-minded too. You know, you got your confidence baits, but also be open-minded.
Yeah, you got to be open-minded about your fishing spots and your baits, and you know we all get kind of caught up and things, and that's the main thing is trying to find them new spots fishing wise, and it's so easy, man. I get caught up. I like catching them too, guys. What I don't win tournaments is you got to catch some, but you got to go looking too. And I'm not talking about looking at boats going down the lake and seeing where it's sitting. I'm talking about finding something nobody has ever found, or something where a group has moved a couple 100 yards. And man, that's been the key for me over the years, is finding where them little groups move to. Keep an open mind about baits. And man, I'm pretty hard-headed. Retrieve speeds and everything. Everybody is. You're closer than what you think you are. Everybody is. It's from catch them and not catching them is very. It's very close. It's very close, and it could be just pausing the crankbait. I mean, it could be ripping the crankbait every once in a while. It's from making daylight and dark difference. It could be a stand-up head, letting it sit there for 5 seconds and letting them fish look at it, letting it soak before you move it. We get in habits of doing things, and sometimes it makes a world of difference.
Man, that's some good stuff. I've got one request for you, Randy, before we let you go. If you're not using any of that hydrilla down there at Pickwick, could you just send it on through the dam and send it on to Kentucky Lake and New Johnsonville? We miss it down there.
Man, I tell you, I wish you did. I wish you'd get on down there, because man, that's the whole key to our fisheries. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story about it, guys. I've seen it, and y'all seen it at New Johnsonville, but we pretty well dominated on the lower end of Pickwick for about 3 or 4 years, and it was just because of the hydrilla. And the upper end didn't do no good, and then it flip-flopped. And I've watched it, and man, that grass is fish. They got to have it because make our fishery good. And I'm praying it washes on down, and I'm sure it will. We had some high water at the wrong time, and that stuff in the spring, it does not like high, dirty water, and it sure wipes it out.
Now, Dave's originally from Paducah. I keep hoping that he might run into some old friend that was working up there at TVA and, might slip him a buck or two and try to keep that water low a little bit longer in the springtime and help that grass grow.
Oh, I tell you, it needs something. We just don't need that high water in the spring. Everybody talks about spraying and this, but I've talked to several guys. Nixon is one of them, and he's seen it on Sound Rayburn. When we get that high, dirty water in the spring, it must be in the critical stage. It gets it. I've seen it, and man, I hope we get it back, guys. We got sections of lake down here at Pickwick where there's nothing, and there's some areas it's just as green, and it's the best looking stuff I ever seen. But I don't know why it does what it does, but as long as it's there, ain't completely gone like Kentucky, it'll keep coming back, and it surely to goodness it's going to wash down to y'all down there at Kentucky sooner or later.
Well, I hope so. Well, Randy, we really appreciate you coming on. Give us a little bit of time out of your busy schedule. Dave, you got anything else before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I've got a little flooring work up here in Kentucky, Randy. How much you charge me per square foot? I've seen some of your work, man. It looks good. I'm a big fan of hardwood.
I'm very high. Man, I tell you, we just done one. I done one about 3,000 feet. And I'm still trying to get over that a week later. I tell you,
you probably got aches in places you didn't know, don't you?
Oh, I guarantee you, age is catching up with me. I tell you, but man, I enjoy it. I've done it over 20 years. And it kind of gives me a break from fishing and gets me kind of mad at them fish again.
Well, let me ask this: do you have a go-to brand of flooring that you prefer over others?
We use a type of cut of floor. It's called quarter saw, and the only thing I deal with is unfinished floors.
Oh, okay.
And Graf. I think they're up in Ohio, and that's who usually the brand we use is Graf Company.
Okay.
And that's the ones we use because this quarter saw, it can take a lot more moisture than your plain saw floors.
Yeah. See there, Matt, you learn something every day.
There's your tip.
Yeah, well.
Right there.
That's right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. We appreciate the heck out of it.
Man, I hope I didn't get too long-winded for y'all. I tell you, it's a sport I love. I tell you, I really do.
No, we're just taking notes, man. We learned a lot.
That's what we're doing here. We got to get better too. We got to listen from the guys that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to tighten up. I tell you, I've been a little bit short the last 3 years, and I'm telling you, I'm getting tired of it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, good luck next year on the tour. I know you'll be putting in the homework and the research and thinking about it while you're doing the flooring. That's something you can always think about. Always.
Oh, I do.
Put that in your mind. So good luck. Maybe we can catch up with you when the tour gets started and kind of catch up and see how you're doing.
Yes, sir. Anytime, y'all. I'll be glad y'all call anytime.
All right, Randy. Thanks a lot, man. Hope you have a good one.
All right, y'all too. Enjoy it, guys.
We'll see you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Matt, that right there was the epitome of just plain old good fishing talk.
Yeah, and I mean he was really good at sharing the info on kind of walking through his thought process on what you do when you're ledge fishing. It's not just go out there and throw a crankbait all day, even though he does that really well. It's he was as simple as it gets. That's as simple as it gets right there. Nothing flashy, nothing fancy, just good old talk. Yeah,
that's kind of like we was leaned up against the boat after a weigh-in.
Yeah, I like that kind of conversation.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Well, let's go north. I don't know, 1,000 miles or so. What do you say?
Are you talking about some buckets?
I'm talking about buckets. Our final
for
bucket
Billy
selection
Lax
of the year.
Oh man,
I have not thought a bit about this in a while.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not kidding. I mean,
for real?
I'm out running for that Triton boat, Dave. So
yeah,
I kind of just gave up on even my hopes and dreams were crushed at the last tournament.
What's your ranking, Matt Ellis? Are you logged in?
I'm logging in right now. Hang on a second here.
Wait a minute. Do you remember your password? You seem to have a password struggle when the TOS is on.
I do. Not like anybody's going to hack into my accounts. I should just use the same password for everything, but I don't.
Well, don't use the same password for Bass as you has for Experian, Matt. You might get hacked.
I've heard about that.
What about that?
And they
That's
didn't really
crazy.
say anything for a while.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I think wasn't it September of last year you was up here, Matt, or was it October?
Excuse me. It was October.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it's
Coming
September,
up on a
October.
year.
Never mind.
Man, this past
It
year
is.
has flown by. All right, my rank is 3,354th.
Wow. I'm at 6090.
Okay. I got 97.83 on points. I'm 90.5 percentile.
What's your points?
9783.
See, I'm at 9336 points.
Wow.
82.7.
Separated by almost 3,000 places, but not that
But
many
400
points.
points.
400 points. That's crazy.
That's insane. I feel like I need to send you a gift back for that victory, man.
I'll take
But
it.
considering you work at a gift back place, I'm gonna pass.
I think I know a guy or two.
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, let's get in here to bucket. Let's go to bucket E. Wow, look at bucket E. Mike Iaconelli's on top.
Well, if you hit the ownership button, yeah.
Yeah, for ownership.
This one's a no-brainer.
No brainer, huh? Brock Mosley.
Yeah. Matt, you don't have to be such a smart aleck about it.
Well, he's a smallmouth guy now.
If anybody has fishing momentum right now, it is Brock Mosley.
That's true. I'd say nobody else can say they've been second place the last two tournaments.
With the brownfish momentum at that.
Do you think he's got something going there?
Well, I mean, obviously you just picked my pick for me.
Okay. I'm just guessing. Sure you don't want Bill Lowen?
No, the weight's going to be too high to pick Bill Owen.
Okay.
I heard a stat on Bill Owen one time, and it's true. If the tournament weight's going to be over 60 pounds, you don't go with Bill Owen.
Is he very consistent, but under the 60-pound?
That's his ceiling. He's a river rat, and he likes to fish rivers and shallow and little bitty square bills. You just don't have 20-pound bags fishing that way.
That's an interesting point. In fantasy football, a lot of the experts talk about a player having the ceiling and a floor, and some players have a high ceiling, which means they can, in fishing terms, they can catch. 4-day tournament, 3-day tournament, they catch, 75 pounds or more. And then low ceiling would be they have a cap, like you said, Bill Lowen does. 60 pounds is his ceiling. So this is going to be a similar tournament to last year, where Fighter had about a 25-pound average every day. It doesn't sound like Bill Lowen. So, I'm going to look a little higher to a smallmouth expert. And, I consider expert. I think he ought to know enough to get by. I'm going to go with Jonathan Van Dam.
I had Prosnick originally, but the tear that Mosley's been on, that momentum confidence thing goes a long way with me.
I'm beginning to believe that Prosnick, even though he's really good with some finesse style fishing, I'm almost believing this guy is more of a largemouth guy. And especially tidal water. I think he's, a lot of people think he's going to be all right up here. I just don't know. I haven't really seen him really take off in the smallmouth lakes. I'm saying that off my memory. I could be wrong. There could be some times where he's done well, but I don't even know what he did there last year. Do you?
Matt Ellis, are you telling me you don't have a spreadsheet on this?
I
this thing?
I didn't do a spreadsheet on this one. Basically, if you want a spreadsheet, just look at last year's results. Because that's about the last time they were there. The only time I know that they were there.
I'm disappointed.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I've had more important things to do than wrapping up the AOY.
So you're going with the JVD?
I'm going with the JVD.
All right.
Strike King. A little bit of Strike King influence there.
I hear
Bucket
you.
D.
Man. I'm torn in this bucket.
There's a few people down the list here. I'm just sorting it by ownership, of course. Steve Kennedy's kind of the popular pick, and
that's who I had, but I'm taking him out.
There are also some other guys down there that I would consider having a pretty good shot. Josh Bertrand has kind of picked up on the smallmouth bite. Not typically a glamorous pick like Alton Jones Sr. or Steve Kennedy, though. So I'm looking up the results from last year while we're
Son of a gun, my battery light come on. What the heck?
What happened?
My battery light come on. It's been charged forever. What the heck? Let me go grab my. You might hear some people. I don't know. Let me figure out where my cord's at. We'll be good.
Okay.
Keep talking. You're good.
All right. I'm going to look up. Let's see if Mille Lacs 2016. I'm looking up what Porosnik did at that Angler of the Year tournament. Just to run down the list here, it looks like, of course, Seth Fighter, Brent Ayler was second place, only 7 pounds back. Lefebvre and Tommy Biffle, of all people. Tommy Biffle was in 4th place, Dave.
That's because them brown ones like that Biffle bug.
Yeah, and I got an idea. He's just dragging that thing, and they just can't resist it. Can he do it again back-to-back years? I don't know. Well, I'm looking for Porosnik's name on the list. He was 19th last year, which is decent. I'd take a 19th or better for every position all year long. And Steve Kennedy was 15th. So, there's some precedence there.
I think Biffle's going to have a hard time being in it, Matt.
Being that he didn't make the cut.
Yes. Now you're learning.
Yeah. I'm just looking on down the list here. I don't see if Jonathan Van Dam was in it last year, but I'm going to pick him anyway. So, all right, I'm rambling. Getting back on track. Who you got for Bucket D?
I'm going with Brandon Lester.
Interesting. Now, he could be good. He's another one of those guys, just like Bertrand, who does well on smallmouth. Brandon's got some experience fishing East Tennessee smallmouth.
Now you're learning.
Mm-hmm. So that's a good one, Dave. I'm kind of leaning that way myself.
That one might cost you, though.
It might. I don't know if we need to be having a lot of the same picks just yet. So you know what? I'm going to go. It's a tough thought here. How did Alton Jones fish it last year? Let's see. Yeah, he did. He finished 6th. But James Elam is right there above him, who's also in this bucket. So who do I go with? James Elam or Alton Jones, Senior? I think I'm going to go Alton Jones Senior.
All right, just not Lester.
Right. So far, I got the second highest owned guy in both buckets. See a pattern emerging. All right, bucket C. Look who's at the top here. Mr. Matt Lee, who has done very well this year. Seems like he kind of got a little inspiration from his brother.
Maybe,
yeah. He kind of I think he's probably on one of his best seasons, if not his best. Now, Jordan ended up 25th last year, and Jordan's doing pretty good this year, too. I don't know if they'll both share spots and info. They probably will. And you're right. I'm looking down at Bill Lowen, finished 29th last year in that tournament, and he had 59 pounds, 6 ounces, Dave.
One day you'll learn, Matt. One day you'll learn.
60 pounds is showing, proving that's his cap right there.
This is a no-brainer bucket, Matt.
Okay. Who's your no-brainer pick?
Another Tennessee guy that is on a brownfish momentum run. Brandon Coulter.
Brandon Coulter. He has been on a pretty good run this year. He's had a pretty decent season overall.
I think I know he had back-to-back top 20s. It might have been top 12s, maybe.
Yeah, he has surprised a lot of people this year. Let's see, did he make it to the tournament last year? I don't think he did. So it's hard to go on last year, but definitely worth it. Now, if I want to be consistent, I'd pick Randy Howell. But Bradley Roy has really been coming on this year too.
That's who I had originally.
Old Kentucky boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think Mille Lacs is turning into a bucket list lake, Matt, for a lot of people.
It is. There's mixed emotions about that with the guys up there on that lake. It's a big walleye lake. I saw a picture of David Walker holding up a big walleye yesterday, big enough that it looks like it would make some mighty fine fish fry fillets.
Yeah, him and McClellan both, I think.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he kept it or not. But I mean, there's a lot of guys up there that love to catch big walleye like that. Man, Randy Howell's kind of still sticking out there with me.
Do it.
But
do it.
I could just
do
go
it.
Bradley Roy.
Do it. Oh.
I'm kind of liking. Oh, who would really surprise me is Cliff Pace. Watch Cliff Pace go in there. He just shows up when you don't expect him.
Exactly.
34th last year. He did okay, but not enough. I'm going to go Bradley Roy. I think he's got some momentum this year. Confidence.
He does he's probably going to make the Classic.
He's very confident this year. Classic, he showed out pretty good.
Very proud of him.
Bucket B. Wow. I'm surprised that this guy at top only has 40% ownership. You're kidding me. Seth Fighter, you mean more than half the field is not going with the house here?
It is a little shocking.
Because I sure am. Give me Seth Fighter. Nobody has ever won back-to-back years on the same lake. Is that what I've heard?
Possibly.
That no angler has won on the same lake 2 years in a row or consecutively. This might be the first time it has ever happened, even though he himself has kind of said that the lake's fishing tougher. Just texted a former Cabela's co-worker of mine, buddy, who's from that area. He confirmed it is fishing tougher this year, but he said Fighter is just that good up there. He could definitely win. So even if Seth Fighter finishes top 5, I'm not going to complain. How could you not go against somebody that knows that lake that well?
Exactly. I'm going chalk, Matt.
Going chalk with Fighter as well. All right. Other guys in that bucket, Faircloth is always one that's you got to watch for. Brent Ayler, of course, ended up second last year, and Aaron Martins. Those are 3 other guys that probably have a good chance to end up finishing in the top 10 for sure. Bucket A. What do you say? This is it. Look at the guys to the top. There's 2 guys here that basically the AOI championship's coming down to.
It's a no-brainer, Matt.
Are you going Ott Defoe?
I am not.
Okay. Are you going Jamie Hartman?
I am.
How many top 12s has he had this year?
Plenty.
5 or 6? 5?
More than I'll ever have in my lifetime.
6. Actually 5. He's had 5 top 12s this year. I think that's a record for a rookie.
It's got to be.
Polinick's had 6. Hartman's had 5. So nobody else in this bucket's close. I think Hartman would definitely be a good one. So that's one thing. If you were playing in the SSFL, I get that wrong. We need to change that. Super Secret Fantasy League of the TOS. If you pick somebody like Hartman for the full year, you'd put him in every time. He'd be your starter every week. I gotta go. I think Brandon Polinick's going to pull it out, Dave. I really do. But I'm kind of tempted to pick Wheeler just because he's kind of an upstart. He could definitely sneak in there.
I'm fine with BP or Christie winning.
I'm going BP. I like to see BP win.
I'd like to see Christie win too, though. But more than likely, Brandon will win.
I have not heard the weather forecast for the week. I'm assuming they're going to fish all 3 days. Not going to be big wind delays or anything. Not major cold fronts going to mess it up. So I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say about 23 pounds a day is going to win, Dave.
All right.
So what is that? That's 23 times 3. It's going to be 69 pounds a day, or 69-pound tournament. I'll say 69.2.
Oh, well, you're close to me, Matt. I'm going 71 too.
Awesome. 71. Dave's breaking the 70 mark.
I could have priced it right and doing 69.3.
There you go.
Or 69.1.
Well, so wrap it up there. Who do you got for your 5 again?
For my 5, I have Mosley, Lester, Coulter, Fighter, Hartman.
And I got Polinick, Fighter, Roy, Jones, and Van Dam. Jones Sr.
Man, I really want to go with Christie and Bucket A, though.
That would be cool. I'd love to see how this tournament's going to end up. If it's going to be a real tight race to the last day, or if somebody's going to run away with it. Don't know.
Be interesting.
Yep. Well, Dave, I think what we're going to do here, at least for the immediate future, is start going to every other week on putting shows together. I think it's just now that season's kind of winding down, there's less and less to talk about. There's still fishing to talk about and guests to have, but we'll give them a little time to get off after the AOI season, and we'll have some pretty good guests here coming up this fall. We'll go to an every other week show.
Absolutely.
I just noticed that I think you sent me a link to the news about Navionics and the Garmin dispute has finally been settled? ?
Hopefully.
We think, because there's been so many appeals and it's gone one way and then the other. Looks like Garmin's going to end up having to pay Navionics about, $38 million?
That's some serious cash.
That is.
Now let's see if the Garmin team gets reduced.
Yeah.
Due to finances.
That money's got to come from somewhere. But they're on the rise. They may be able to hold this storm, hold through this storm of litigation.
Well,
I mean, you look at how many guys have joined them just the last couple of years.
You can always turn that into your insurance company too, Matt. So
That's right. And that's where David comes into play.
Well, not them big fancy ones, but it is an option.
The last thing is I just sent you an email a while ago before I left work. I saw that sounds like the last major hurdle for the Cabela's and Bass Pro merger has been hurdled. It looks like I've heard from a couple of friends today. A lot of things are changing fast up there. Nobody still really knows what's going on, but everybody's on the edge waiting to hear when the big changes are going to happen. Some of them expect it to happen quick.
Well, Johnny Morris just has a couple more boat companies to buy, and he'll own them all.
Yeah, so he's got Stratus, which they're not going to make much anymore, I guess. And Triton, and Ranger, and Legend, and Nitro.
And Tracker.
Pretty much got probably 50% of the boat market wrapped up
one
way or another. So, yeah, it's looking like, pretty much, I think if there's ever going to be a time where the two major bass circuits will merge, it'll be because Johnny Morris buys one of them or both of them. It forces them.
Yeah, well, he already owns Ranger. So.
Yeah.
Right, you forgot about Ranger Triton in there too,
I'm
Matt.
surprised he hasn't bought MLF yet.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pretty much a big sponsor for a lot of that anyway. All right, Dave, let's wrap it up right there. What do you say?
Hey, we might as well.
Yep. I appreciate you guys listening. Check us out on Instagram with our new Instagram name. You're going to have to tell me, Dave, because I forget again.
TOS Fishing Podcast.
TOS Fishing Podcast. Instagram, you can find me on there, River Rat Matt. Say hey. Give us a call anytime you want to. We still got our show voicemail still going. I don't think we've got any calls recently, Dave. Not that I've noticed in the last week or so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we've got any messages. Of course, it was forwarding all the calls to my phone. I found out I had to stop it from doing that, keep me from answering by accident. But you can call us at 661 665-6867. That's 661-MOJOTOS. Mojo-TOS. Give us a call sometime. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us how you're doing, what you're doing, where you're fishing. If you got some guests you want us to do, anything you want to talk about. Floyd from Newmarket has been calling a lot, and he's always fun to hear from. Hopefully he'll call in again soon.
He's an interesting fella.
He's interesting.
We need to meet up with him one day.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Not the third Saturday in October, though. I just couldn't talk to him that week.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Kentucky. Kentucky won.
Yes, we're 2-0. This time last year, we were 0-2.
Yeah, good job. Maybe who you got next?
We play at South Carolina Saturday evening.
Okay.
We have beat them 3 years in a row, though.
Big SEC East matchups this week. Tennessee and Florida is afternoon game, and then you guys are at night. I'll probably watch both of those games. Well, I know I'll watch one of them, but I'm going to watch both just to see what Kentucky's got this year. Maybe see our buddy Cash Daniel out there on the field.
He might be out there.
All right. What do you say we wrap it up right there, Dave?
Shut her down.
All right, guys, have a good week. We will come back next tournament, or next time we'll be back is in 2 weeks, September, I believe it is September 26th, and our guest will be the BASS Collegiate Champion who's going to the Classic Day from Bryant College down there in Dayton, Tennessee, Jacob Fouts. Got him lined up.
There you go.
So that'd be fun to talk to him. See what it's like. I'm pretty sure he'll be the youngest. Might be the youngest guy ever in the Classic. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Let's wrap her up there.
All right, man. Appreciate it.